Hello, hello, hello. We are live with today's stream, so I'm just going to go share that on all the social medias, and then we'll hop into the game. It is Tuesday. Oh, joy. Switch Pro is trending on Twitter again. Anyway, it's Tuesday, so we're just doing Animal Crossing. And, yeah, go and do our daily stuff. See if we have a price spike on turnips. If so, sell them. If not, probably be creating another town today. And yeah, but let's just hop right in and see what we can get up to. Actually, only about 23 minutes late today. Better than yesterday. 324, March 1st. Trantor. Yes, that's all good. All good in the neighborhood. Okay. So how's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day today. Okay, there shouldn't be anyone new today. Sydney, Mint, Lulu, Ozzy, Cody, Boris. Yeah, because what time do we... I guess in an hour or so, if we're still traveling between our towns, we might get somebody new then. Museum, right wing of a Pteranodon. Okay, good stuff. Alright, I still have stuff inside my house as well that we need to sell, because yesterday we couldn't sell stuff. Skull of a T-Rex. Excellent, excellent. And, ooh, a valuable Triceratops skull. 2 skulls in one day. That's some mighty fine work there. Letter from home. Found a wrinkle today. Tumbleweed at Nooks and HR. Oh, right. I was like, what? HR lives by home, but why did they live at less than they did yesterday? That's because of the junk currently inside it. That makes sense. Yeah. Everything else is what's supposed to be in here, so obviously remains. Okay, let's check the notice board. Ooh. Favorite thing in the world in Acre F3. Okay, so down by the lighthouse. Okay. Should be easy enough to remember, maybe. We'll see. I mean, knowing me, I'll probably have forgotten by that, but assuming it's easy to spot, we'll find it. And if not, we'll find it later. I mean, we'll find it eventually. Let's go wander about town. Was there something back here? No. No, there is not. Weed. So how's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. Good Tuesday. Or depending on where in the world you are, it might already be Wednesday. Good day, Lulu. Konnichiwa to you too. Let's chat. Yes, it's seal count. I caught one. It's not. Sorry, Lulu. Why do people get sad at me accomplishing stuff? Like, you know, you should be happy when your friends accomplish stuff. Good day, Ozzy. This is literally the second time I've talked to you. You moved in yesterday. Talk to me. I did not. Okay, so I just realized I didn't check. Let's see here. Yeah, no, don't worry. I don't have any plans to buy anything from Red. I don't need anything from Red. Oh, yeah, because Sahara was here yesterday. And Pretoris, Wendell was in Pretoris yesterday. Trina will be in Meltor 4 today, but she only shows up at 9 p.m., so it'll be likely won't see her until tomorrow. Wendell's going to be in Winnipeg on Thursday. Custodes possibly has a sale at some point, unless you just don't get a visitor right away when first day you've created a town. I think you can already find on the first day the next visitor, so it probably means there's a sale coming up in Custodes, but I'm not sure. So that's why I had a question mark after the word sale. Okay. Well, we already see a fossil down there. Good to know for when we get to that point. And, yeah. Ozzy, we already talked to. Onwards and upwards we go. Where we'll stop, everybody knows. Or do you? Maybe not everybody. Yeah, look at that pill bug. Look at this weed. Weeds, weeds, go away. Come again and never. Good day, Sydney. 3 p.m., yes. No, I did not oversleep. I've been awake since 2 a.m., which is also not healthy, but I've donated one of everyone to the museum already. Don't worry. Sydney, don't even worry. The museum is complete. I've already done that. Donated one of everything. Fish, insect, fossil, and painting. Haven't found any fossils yet. Technically, we saw where one is buried. It was below the cliff, so we haven't grabbed it yet, but... Okay. Firstly... So we are selling turnips today. So, now all of my other towns, other than maybe Custodes, because we don't know what the turnip price there is, but all my other towns, so Pretorius, Meltor, 4, Winnipeg, could all have a higher price if they also have a price spike. So what we're going to be doing then is we will be traveling to my other towns first to check if any of them has a price spike. But if not, then we'll be selling them here. Good to know, good to know, good to know. Good to know. And then along with that, we'll also, I guess, should be able to sell all my turnips. And I mean, if we sell them here, we're definitely going to have time to sell them all. Won't be a big issue. We end up having to sell them in one of my other towns because of travel time. Could be a bit more iffy, so then we'll see how that goes. But, yeah. Oh. Hey, Mint. Oh, it's absolutely terrible for me. Let's chat. I haven't actually seen the ad for his upcoming visit yet. Oh, I'm always careful. I mean, when it comes to, you know, expenditures, I am always careful. I pretty much always plan out. Oh, hey, Cody. Purchases in advance. What are you doing about my turnips, Cody? Yes. This was like a while ago, Cody. Pretty simple letter to write, buddy. Ooh. Fossil number 1. Tons of fun. Send a traffic cone to the museum. That'd be awkward. What actually happens if you send something that's not a fossil to the museum? I'm curious. Do you just, like, lose it, or do they send it back and be like, hey, that's not a fossil, you dingus? 1,000 bells. Excellent. Excellente. Fossil number 2. How about you? Finishing off the rainy day paper. So I move up the parchment and the skyline paper. Cody, we already talked to. That's all good in the neighborhood. Anyone else is all good in the neighborhood? I don't, maybe I'll keep my eye. Okay, so when is Red coming here, since he apparently is doing so? Yes, March 3rd, okay. Today is what, Tuesday? And it's the 1st, so that'll be Thursday. Oh, wait. Just write down that Red is the one that's coming. There we go. So we're getting 2 visitors on Thursday. I mean, could it be even more, but at least 2 visitors. Anything lost? Nothing lost. Nothing lost. Well, that fish was bigger. The fish shadow looked a bit bigger than it actually was for a moment there. Oh. Hey, buddy. You're sleeping on the beach again. Might want to be careful about doing that too much. Just a suggestion for future reference. Okay. A Rolling Stone. Curiosity, what did we get from him? Mouth of Truth. Well, the truth is that the mouth is the truth. Or something along those lines. Okay, done here. Yeah, this acre is the one that has the treasure in it, right here. Ooh, a samurai suit. That is a nice treasure. Nice treasure for us to sell. Ain't that right? Okay. Hey, Boris. It's a good word. Thunderheart would be pretty cool. Would indeed. Sorry for all the yawning. As I mentioned earlier, I did start work at 4 a.m. this morning, so I'm a bit on the tired side. But I mean, what else is new? How are things? Everything is perfect. Trantor is a very livable place. Still only found 2 fossils. You know, I'm starting to worry about the fact that I still only found 2 fossils and we're almost dead. Oh, so the 3rd quadrant. Now we are on the 3rd quadrant. So are there 3 fossils in the final quadrant? Or did I just miss some? I mean, well, fossil number 3, just for me. Okay. Write letter to the museum on this parchment that I have. We still need the money rock. Also, yeah, we've talked to all our villagers already. Oh, okay. Need to go over to the other acre. Only a couple of rocks left. Fossil number 4. Just one more. Okay, excellent. We have got the money. Okay, then we just need file fossil and plenty more weeds we come across. However, we seem to have missed a fossil at some point. Only the one though, that's not too bad. Could definitely be a lot worse. Okay. Let's mail our 4 letters. Here, I have to actually be careful to just mail the actual letters I want to mail, because lately it's been, 5, and then fills out the post office, and can't send any more here. After sending 4, she'll still give me the option to send another one, so if I was just, keeping on pressing A and such and not actually paying attention, I might accidentally send one of those bottom 3. But I am paying attention. And I know what I'm doing. Okay, so then let's go and Sell the junk. And then head over to first of our towns, which is, I think, Custodes. It's our newest town that we'll go to first. We need to check turn prices in all of my towns. Well, not necessarily all of them. So we start with Custodes, because if there's a price spike there, we don't actually know what it is going to be. Then we work our way from the most expensive on down. So that way, if it's like, you know, Winnipeg has it, it's just like, okay, we know we don't need to check the rest. We can just start selling Winnipeg. The Custodes, we don't know. Could be the most, could be the least, could be somewhere in between. That's what we're checking first. We haven't traveled there yet with Rick here anyway, because we just created the town yesterday. As the last chunk of the Animal Crossing portion of the stream, before we switched over to Blaster Master and got this close to winning, to beating the game in Blaster Master. We got up to the final boss. And also, I'm pretty sure I initially did get, because there's a position you can get into where the boss can't actually hit you. And I think I actually was in that position. But I didn't realize it. I readjusted myself, and that was what killed me. That's rough, but you know what? We got close to the end of Blaster Master, and you know, next time. I already know, you know, what to do now with the boss next time, I believe. I also know a few things to do earlier to make my life a bit easier in the 8th area. Because there was one thing that I had been kind of forgetting and not realizing about, where I can go and actually relatively easily fill up on hover fuel if I need to, which would make, and like right before the room with that pit of that small room with the pit of spikes, because that was the cause of so many of my deaths yesterday. Hover over that, that would make that so much simpler. Okay, Custodes. We don't have a map of this town yet. First we'll just quickly check this. Nothing on there. We want to go... Run across the bottom to check for Gulliver, then we'll go up and stop at the police station. Check the lost and found, and check for visitors. And then come back up, go to the dump, and then the lost and found. Or go to the dump and then to Nooks. Also find we go to when we go to the police station, so it's kind of self-explanatory. Captain. Okay, now the lost and found is around here somewhere. Right over here. First, let's grab a map. Mischief making, definitely mischief making. One second, I have a text I need to respond to. Okay. And goes on. Nothing important, yeah. So yeah, so there's a sale going to be happening at Nooks at some point. We don't know when. I have to play as one of my characters within this town to find that out. But it's not really important. They do have something lost, though. Stationary? Stationary will be useful. Not the clothing. Number 4 shirt. Okay. Who is number 4, though? Obviously, number 1 is Commander William T. Riker. I guess we're going with he's number 1 because he's the first officer. Second officer, number 2 would be Lieutenant Commander Data. Then would be Lieutenant Worf. And I guess, so number 4 would be Lieutenant Commander Geordi LaForge. Which is interesting, like, in the, this is like talking Star Trek Generation, like season 2 forward. But it's actually interesting that Geordi, for much of, you know, TNG, or possibly all of it, outranks Worf. Or no, I think there was, at the beginning of the series, I think they were actually the same rank. But for most of the series, Geordi outranks Worf. But Worf is actually ahead of him in the, like, chain of command as far as taking command. But that's partly because of, you know, probably because Worf is, you know, chief of security, which is kind of a bit more command oriented than engineering. I don't know. Firstly, let's see turnip prices. Okay, 73. So we're not selling here. Turnips. We're not selling turnips here. We're selling these 3 shirts here. Okay. So that's all we have to do here then. So let's head back. Okay, I'm actually just gonna open up my... Well, first of all, what was the thing with visitors? Taurus is the one that we need to keep a check out. Oh, that's also the last one we're going to be visiting today. And we're not... And I assume we get a price spec in either Winnipeg or Milton 4. We're not even going to be visiting Taurus today. So yeah, so we're going to go to Winnipeg next. So yeah, because if we get a price spike there, that is just going to be a massive profit. 11.1 times profit rather than just 8 times. Like, but we do have the price spike in Trantor, so we're getting a minimum of 8 times profit today on our turnips. That's the minimum. It could be at 11.1, 9.8, or 9.5 times, depending on if any of those other 3 towns have a price spike as well. But on the other hand, you know, if one of them does, that'll also take a lot longer to sell the turnips in one of those 3 towns, because we're gonna have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the train, sell them all. Whereas if we sell them in Trantor, that's just like, you know, run over to the Nooks with them, get them sold. Okay. Did somebody move now? Oh yeah, Sydney moved. Too bad, I like Sydney. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the moment, though, nobody else can move out. We are currently at the minimum of 5 villagers. Just give me a moment to swap out memory cards. And onward to Winnipeg. Yeah. I mean, we may end up getting another villager moving in today. If we're selling turnips in one of my other towns, we will be getting another villager move in today around like 4:30ish, somewhere between 4:30 and 5. If we aren't selling in one of the other towns, then we'll probably be done with traveling before we get to the point. Because basically, we need to get to the point where we started streaming yesterday, and then if we would travel, basically like travel or save and quit, so that we reload the town after that point, because you know it has to be at least 24 hours from when you had the one villager move into the next one from just randomly moving in. Doesn't count. It's a bit different if it's moving into another town, but so because of that, it would be yeah. Now, obviously, if we're selling in another town, we'll be traveling like back and forth for several hours yet. So maybe we'll get somebody moving in, and once that happens, then somebody else could move out. We'll see if that happens. I'm gonna check them turnip prices. Well, something I'm realizing might become an issue. So once we get like 18 towns, like I said, we're gonna have like much better chance of getting like you know, price spikes throughout the we're honestly gonna have a really good chance of getting a price spike like nearly every Monday, which could cause issues with, you know, whatever game I'm then streaming on Monday just not getting done because I'm always going and just doing Animal Crossing. The bee acres. Yes, we found that. We did indeed find that. Okay, let's see what we got here for turnip prices. $130. Nope, not a price spike. Very good, like, price for just like standard prices, but it's not a price spike. Stationery. Woodcut paper. And an oft-seen print. Okay, we'll go check on, oh, it's over here. It's like, where is the ramp? That's right here. I'll go check on Gulliver. Lost and found, and then we'll head back momentarily. So, and we'll check, I guess, Meltork 4 next. And then Praetorius. Who's our next visitor again? I'm sure we have it marked down. It was Katrina tomorrow here? No, it's Wendell on Thursday. Yeah, that's the one that is here. Yeah, Katrina's in Meltork 4 tomorrow, today. Well, not here yet. Show up at 9 p.m., but... Okay, nothing lost. Nothing lost, nothing gained. No snow, it didn't rain. Yeah, that was quite... Where's the bridge? Bridge is down here. Bridge is always lower there than I expect, which is always throws me off. Maybe we still need to make a 4th character there. Guess we have a deal. To do here, so then let's head back, and then we're going to be checking Meltork 4 next. Meltork 4 is not poor. Okay. How's everyone else doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. Good Tuesday. And all that jazz. Okay. I'll have a Discord notification. Nothing that super relevant at the moment, but yeah. Yeah, it's also some Marvel Netflix shows have been taken down off Netflix, or are going off today. I can't remember if today was the last day or yesterday was the last day. But, and they're going to be up on Disney Plus later this month. And I was saying it was probably going to be, you know, Hulu in the States, Disney Plus everywhere else. But even in the States, it's going to be on Disney Plus. They're adding new parental controls to American Disney Plus specifically for this. So that's interesting. Curious to see if that's going to apply to other similarly mature series coming to Disney Plus even in the States, or if this is just like an exception because Marvel. Okay, so this is Meltork 4 next. We want to swap out memory cards again. Okay. So yeah, so in a couple of weeks, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, and The Punisher will all be on Disney Plus. Also, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be on Disney Plus in the States on that same day. Here in Canada, it's already been on Disney Plus for a while. Like, with Netflix stuff not coming, the only stuff, MCU stuff, we're missing from Disney Plus here in Canada is Runaways Season 3, The Incredible Hulk, and the Spider-Man movies. Although, let me actually just check if Runaways Season 3 is still missing. Yeah, Season 3 is still missing here. Stacey have all 3 seasons of Runaways on Disney Plus, I know. But sadly, that is not the case here, at least not yet. Okay, so we got another face to draw. 4:04 p.m. I'm curious if Marvel and Disney will eventually work out a deal with Universal to get Incredible Hulk on Disney Plus. I know the Spider-Man stuff is going to eventually be coming to Disney Plus. It's just a matter of, I have no idea when. One second, game audio is a little out of sync. Okay, that's better. Well, this is a lot of big lamb asses. Okay, you are welcome. Just an average traveler. Is any traveler really average? What time are we at? Meltork 4. What does Meltork 4 look like again? This is the problem as we're getting more and more town. I'm already like, okay, wait, which town? I mean, I was already at that previously, and now it's just getting compounded. Okay, this one. So, first check this. Oh, still nothing new since Valentine's Day. Ribbon paper and a chalkboard. Okay, let's see what we got here. Good day, Mr. Tom Nook. And what are you buying turnips for today? 75. Okay, so not selling them here. So we're probably selling in Trantor. We still have Praetoris to check. But yeah. Well, on the plus side, well, not like the plus side, on additional thing to take into consideration, I should say, is if we do end up going too late on like selling turnips, because we know only, well, unless Praetoris has one, but right, it's like there's always a decent chance another one of my towns will get a price spike as well later in the week. So actually, specifically, if Praetoris doesn't have a price spike today, then honestly we won't have much trouble selling all the turnips today because there's no travel time involved. If Praetoris says we want to sell them there is the risk of running low on time because of the extra time taken from traveling. I'm gonna stop at the lost and found. See, like in 2 of my other towns, we now have the law. Actually, counting Trantor, we actually have like 3 towns with the lost and found over on this side, I think. Yeah. Here. Here. Yes, busy little bee. It goes on. Like Katrina, yes. We knew that already. And do you have anything lost? Nothing lost, awesome. So then we are done here in Metalwork 4. Just need to check Praetorius. Yeah, so if, we start telling them Praetorius and we start running low on time. It's not a big deal because we know, there's still Metalwork 4, Winnipeg, and Custodes, any of which could get a price spike later in the week. I mean, Winnipeg also, like, had a standard price tag of 130, so there's a chance that could keep going up, and we could still get a decent price, turn price in Winnipeg by the end of the week, even without a price spike there. If it comes down to that. Obviously, that remains to be seen how it'll go. And yeah. And beyond that, what? Okay. So we just need to check Praetorius. Now we're arriving in Trantor. Okay, just give me a moment to swap the memory cards one final time. We're still just at the 5. Yes, I'm taking yet another trip porter. Okay. Well, thank you for your patience. Wait. He has patience? Are you a doctor? Doctor and a train station attendant? Maybe he has a PhD in train stations. Dr. Porter. Oh, a nice ring to it. Okay. Onwards we go. To Praetoris, you know. That's where we be. That's what we see. Huh. Okay. Layout, this layout. Okay. I believe we found that. We got classic umbrella and a jagged shirt. Okay. Prices 81. So we are selling them in Trantor. But if we do run low on time, that means all my other towns still have an option of price spike. So that means we still have like 4 more chances for a price spike this week. So if we do start running low on time, it's not the biggest deal. Switch to... This is what happens when I'm like doing stuff on the computer or what? Wait, no, over here. Also running in the game. Okay, let's find out who the next visitor here is. Goes on Sahara. I was going to do question marks. He's going to tell us though. March 3rd. Oh, so that's another Thursday one. Nice, we're getting 3 visitors on Thursday. Usually all of our upcoming visitors are different visitors. Anything lost? And so including the sale in Cousteau, so we're actually getting all of the different visitors plus the sale. Other than the one we actually want. No Gracie at the moment, which is the one we actually want. Everyone else is on the upcoming schedule at the moment. That's fine, though. We'll get Gracie again before too long, especially as we create more and more towns. And such. Okay. Let's just do a quick check for Gulliver while we're here. Ooh. And for the glowing spot. Can I actually get around this hole here? Yes, I can. Okay. Good stuff. Oh, there's also... Yeah, I also should stop by and say hi to Alfonso. Feels like forever since I've talked to him last. Hopefully he's home, because I think that was the thing last time we were here. He wasn't home. Oh, still not home. Alfonso, Alfonso, I miss you. My friend, Alfonso, Alfonso. Please say it's not the end. Let's go sell this axe and then we'll head back and get to work on selling those turnips. I'd like to sell this axe you see. I'd like to sell it just for me. 69,000, nice. 581 bells. Good stuff, good stuff. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Back to the beginning. Or Trantor, whichever works. Okay. You have a nice trip to Dr. Porter. You have a nice trip too. Don't know if you're going on a trip. I mean, at least at some point you're going on a trip. Maybe. Maybe not. It's hard to say. Okay. Let's go. Onwards and forwards. 420, blaze it. Okay. Back to a weird, strange cat right now. We're over. Just letting you know, since it's important to you. Trantor. Now arriving in Trantor. And still, yeah, still just at 5. We didn't get any. So yeah, it's not quite. Another 10 minutes and we probably would have got a new villager. But that means it's time for us to go into turnip selling mode. Clear out my inventory. How many terms can we sell at a time? Make a deposit of all of my money. So, let me just bring my calculator. So, what's the money I can hold on me? Essentially 30,000 times, well, times 18 equals, so 50, yeah, 540,000, technically almost 550, but, so then, divided by 670, divided by 8. I think 8 packs of turnips is what we can sell at a time. Okay, so which acre do we want to start with? So we have them in B5. I think that's where we want to finish. C1. C5. D2, the Mighty Ducks. D4. I think we'll start with a C1 turnips. And then basically we'll work our way this way. So we'll start with C1, then do D2, D4, C5, B5. So actually, did I say start or D2? We'll start with C1. I might have actually said that, I don't know. Whichever one I said. 2, 3, yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe that's what we want. Well, I mean, we'll check what that gives us, and then see if we want to adjust. But I think 8. If I did the math correctly, and I did it on my calculator, so unless I did, unless I was wrong about how to do the math, I should have done it, or made a typo. I guess that's also a possibility. Yeah, that's. Yeah, that's almost perfect, because another set of turnips give us... Yeah, way too much. So, that works. That math makes sense. So, we'll sell 8 packs of turnips at a time. And we'll see how long it takes us. Because we just started, like... So it's... see how long this first acre takes us, and then kind of just multiply by 5 to determine how long it's going to take us over. Well, actually, no, I guess see how long it takes us to do this acre, and then multiply it by 4 to see how much time the remaining acres after this will take, because we don't really need to multiply by 5, because that'll just include the time we already will have finished on that one. But yeah, and then we get kind of a basic idea of how long. And of course, I will be also taking a break in like 20-ish minutes. For the exact time, because Alan is dropping off some food for me, so when that happens, I'll go on a break to, receive said food and then eat said food. Because, eating food is, important. Apparently the body needs it or something. And, yeah. And Tuesday, since that's the day, my mom brings me food, instead of me just, providing my own food for myself. It's the day that I definitely eat the healthiest, as a general rule. I say the general rule, because, there was the one time, what was it? Let's say 2 weeks ago? I mean, it's happened before as well, but sometimes we're just like, oh, Mom doesn't feel like cooking a particular Tuesday or whatever, so then she just brings KFC or something. Obviously that's, KFC is less healthy than what I normally eat, I would say. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not much less healthy, but slightly less healthy. So this acre is half the acre. Well, this acre and then the other. This is well. This is. Yeah, it's C1. C1 and then D2. They'll both take about the same amount of time. The other 3 acres will actually take... I mean, it won't be, like, much of a difference, I suppose. I was gonna say, because the other ones are closer to Nooks, but I guess so we still have to go to the post office after each sale to, you know, deposit our money. Means still, you know, is a bit of a time sink. Or not a time sink, it's still like, you know, equivalent. Still have to go all the way over here anyway. Pause it, please. Oh, other way. Yeah, and at the end of today, we should have 230 some million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 230 some million bells, I believe. Maybe even close to 240 million. Yeah. Slowly but surely we'll get our money all the way up. Until eventually we can get that post office model. Which is the whole point of all of this. I don't know, the only point. It's the number that I can max out, so obviously I'm going to max it out, but because of who I am as a person, that's just, you know, something we've learned to accept about me. Miss Pelly, I'd like to make a deposit, please. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then also when they're counting, want to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war, which is weird. I never really did thumb wars, so I don't know why that's like, you know, where my brain always goes with that. But it is what it is. I mean, my brain does like its memes and does like its references and does like all that kind of stuff, patterns and whatnot, so I actually do kind of understand. Heck, I frequently, you know, reference stuff from TV shows I haven't even watched, or movies or whatnot. I mean, a lot of people do sometimes, I mean, although sometimes just because something is such part of the public consciousness, or, you know, people that are referencing, say, something else that referenced it. Like, you know, people reference something from the Looney Tunes, not realizing that Looney Tunes itself was referencing something else. Or, you know, Simpsons. Or, like, really all sorts of things, but, like, those are 2 big ones. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. Yeah. always interesting, like, and also like how certain references that people don't understand then end up becoming something completely different. Because like the word Nimrod, for instance, you know, often is used to refer to someone of lower intelligence. After, you know, Bugs Bunny called what's his name, the hunter guy. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but called him Nimrod in one of their old cartoons. And people thought, oh, that's what that means. But no, it's actually, he's calling him that ironically, because Nimrod was a great hunter within the Bible. But some people didn't know that, so then they just, you know, assumed, oh, that's just an insult. And caught on. As these things sometimes do. Okay. One, two, three, four, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think I often forget that when I'm selling turnips in one of my other towns, that's why it takes so long, because of all the travel time, because, you know, just selling turnips within the town I bought them in does not take that long. Like, I'm not quite sure. These are around, like, 420 something on selling these turnips, so I think a single acre is going to take me like about 20 minutes, less. It's already been more than 10 minutes, but it was only because it was only 420. It was 4:20 when I was on the train coming back. Because I remember when I saw 4:20 on the train, that was when I said, you know, 4:20 blaze it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, so like 15 to 20 minutes. So like so it'll be like an hour to an hour and a half. Well, hour 20 for like the other 4 acres. I'm actually saying like 5 hour and a half, 6:30. So like we should be done selling turnips by 6:30. Is my current estimate. I got to take into account me going on the break and a bit and such. That's not bad at all. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So there's 4 left in that acre. Okay. Yeah, so about like 15 to 20 minutes per acre is what it should be then. Yeah, that seems accurate. I'd like to sell these turnips you see. I'd like to sell them for lots of money. Really keep an accurate count though of how many trips this was, because I was just like, oh, I should like figure out how much money we will have. Nor did I check, like, do I remember how much money we had at the start of this? Wait. You said that money again? Okay, that's cool. 919,616. So like if you ignore the like 219 million or whatever, like 919,616 or whatever, which are basically like flipped. That's cool. That is really cool. It's just like just at random we got that. Should be the last of this acre. Let me just check anything behind anything. Yeah, I think we're good. So this was C1 is done. Then we're going to do D2, the Mighty Ducks, next. Let's go from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And also, each acre should have identical amounts of turnips. And so if a first acre, just now when we finished off, like, we grab the final 4, so then we grab another 4 from D2 there. That means at the end of D2, we should have, like, 8 packs all from there to finish off that acre. So that'll be a way of like making sure we haven't missed anything. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. A good way of keeping things accurate. Hey, 220 million. Oof. We are moving and grooving on this, folks. Moving and grooving. One, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. And then once we've got, I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that sentence. It's like once we've got the turnips done, we'll have the turnips done. Like. Yeah, it's very nice. I've been doing a lot. We've had a lot of recent times where I haven't been buying turnips, or if I do, I don't buy as many as I'd like. And had at least 1 week, I think, in the last couple of months, where we bought turnips and didn't sell them, and all sorts of stuff. So the fact that we actually bought full 5 sets of turnips this week, and now we're selling them all today. On a Tuesday, no less. That's nice. Getting it over and done with fairly early in the week, but specifically on the day that I just stream Animal Crossing, so it's also not taking time away from me working on, say, like Blaster Master had it been yesterday, or Star Wars Knights of the Republic for tomorrow, or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on Thursday, or Earthbound Beginnings on Friday. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, is there something? Weird. Oh, I think it's this one leaf here that's like that my horn is touching there. I think that leaf was causing me to think there was something down there. Throwing me off. Okay. We'll see how next week goes as well on turnips, because this Sunday we're planning on starting earlier if possible. Not necessarily to buy more turnips, but just to give me more time, because to check prices now with, like, I already have 5 towns now, and by Sunday I could have even more. So in theory, I'm not creating another town today, but in theory I could create one Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's 4 more towns, so that would put us at 9 towns. I'd have to check then on Sunday, and that could take a bit of time. Okay. As these things generally do. Oof. Okay. Well, although, that being said, if we do start earlier and we do, like, things, then I will be very interested to see, though, like, how long it does, what time it does take us to tell 2 by 5 full sets, if, if moving up to buying more turnips on a Sunday, figuring out if that's viable or not. Obviously, the faster I can get my money to get up to max, the sooner I can get the post office model. And also just not then have to worry about that anymore. But yeah. Now a lot of my worrying is just going to go towards the fact that I have to wait until, or a lot of the worry is going towards upcoming July, with when I have to make sure to do, like, all the town days to get, well, the Grand Tour days, we already did that last year, all the other town days to get all of the, train station models. I was curious to see if any of the town, so far I think the town days have all been different. I'm curious to see if any of them end up, falling on the same day yet, which, I mean, decent chance of that happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For anyone who just came in recently and is wondering, like, well, I'm counting turnips as I'm picking them up. If I pick up even 9 packs of turnips, the amount of selling them for. I won't be able to sell them because I won't have enough room for all that money in my inventory by picking them up 8 at a time. Since that's manageable, just like I'd like to sell these turnips, please. I'd like to sell them for lots of monies. Yeah, like if you look at my inventory here, so 30,000 bag in every inventory slot, and then my wallet is at 87,600. So 86 or 87, so like 11,400 from the max, and the single pack of turnips today here is getting us 67,200 bells. So that is what it is. Okay. Okay, and Mom just texted me that she's on her way to bring me some food. So we are going to go on break now, and I'll probably be back in about 15 to 20 minutes after, after receiving said food and then eating said food. So if any of y'all need to take a break, get up and stretch, get some food or drinks for yourself, use the washroom, any of that jazz, now is the perfect time to do it, and I'll see you in like 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. I have returned from my break. Sorry, that break actually went a bit longer than expected. I don't know if I ate too fast or what, but my stomach is feeling a little bit, I don't know. I feel like I need to, like, burp to release pressure, but I've been burping and nothing. It still feels iffy, so I don't know. I don't know if I was eating too fast or what, but we'll get back to this and see how it goes. Yeah, we are in the middle of select trips. So how's it going, Not Pro Yet? Thank you for that raid. That was very much appreciated. Sorry, I was on break when it happened. But yeah, we are in the middle of selling our turnips. So let's get back to that and continue on. Where was that? Oh, this is gonna be from also a letter from Red, and then also then whoever moved out. Yeah, Red coming on the 3rd, and Sydney moved to Custodes. Doing fine. Senior play Symphony of the Night. Yes, nice. First time playing. Good stuff. How are you enjoying it? How's that treating you? I've never played Symphony of the Night myself. My Castlevania experience is Castlevania and Castlevania 2. So yeah, the first 2 games on the NES is all I've played of the Castlevanias. Or at least the bulk of what I've played of the Castlevania series. I think I've played like a couple of minutes of 1 or 2 others, but that barely counts. Okay. Do you enjoy it? Do you love a good Metroidvania from time to time? Nice. Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Castlevanias I've played are from before they even were Metroidvanias. Because the original Castlevania is just a straight up platformer. You know, there's never really any doubt of where you go. It's just about getting through everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Castlevania 2 that is the one that introduced the whole like concept of having to figure out where to go and exploring and such, but still not on the level of, you know, the later games. Okay. Played any other Castlevania games, or is this your first Castlevania game? The game audio a little bit off. Maybe. If it was, it's been fixed. And if it wasn't, then it's still good. Or at least in theory. Okay. Play Castlevania 1. You've been working on playing the other games. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, Castlevania 1 definitely ranks up there as one of the more difficult games I've played and beaten. Up there with the Ninja Gaiden trilogy and for NES. And yeah. Blaster Master ranks up there for difficult games I've played, but unfortunately not yet beaten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We were so close to beating Blaster Master yesterday. I got up to the final boss, but I didn't manage to beat him yet. And Round out continues and back to the start of the game. But hopefully next playthrough Blaster Master I actually beat it. We keep inching closer to the finish line. I'd like to sell... Yeah, I definitely want to continue on with the Castlevania series as well. Next Castlevania game I plan to play is the arcade game Haunted Castle. It came out between Castlevania 2 and 3. In Japan, actually, it shares its title with Castlevania, like the original Castlevania. It has the same title, but here in North America, it was called Haunted Castle because I guess they decided not to market it with the Castlevania title for whatever reason. And now, I'm not going to be buying the actual arcade machine unless I find one for like a reasonable price, but I'm going to be buying it on PS4 Arcade Archives. First I need to actually get a PS4. Also forgot to play a little bit of Circle of the Moon and Dracula X. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, Circle of the Moon is one of the... Is that one of the Game Boy Advance ones or DS ones? It's definitely on a Nintendo handheld, I just can't remember. I want to say Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure it's Game Boy Advance, right? And Dracula X. That one I know of as... I definitely recognize the title. Yeah, one of the GBA games. Nice. Yeah, I've watched speedruns of a bunch of the Game Boy Advance Castlevania games. I don't remember much other than the fact that they have really good music. I mean, the whole series has really good music. I remember when I was playing the original Castlevania, I had multiple streams in a row of just me fighting Dracula. Oh, like, the nice thing with that game is, yeah, dying or even game overing at Dracula, like you respawn right before him or whatever. But yeah, so I had just I had like 2, maybe 3 streams in a row that was just like me fighting Dracula over and over and over again until finally I managed to beat him. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That is D2. Done. Where's my drops list? Here we go. Also played a bit of Castlevania 4 and the Bloodlines. Oh, nice, nice. Definitely an interesting series. Especially like how, like, you know, in when they were making, like, you know, the original Castlevania, it was just like, oh, let's just toss in like all these, you know, monsters, you know, Dracula, obviously the main boss, but then, like, you know, Medusa and Frankenstein's monster and all this stuff. And then later on, as they actually like started developing like the lore of the series and all this stuff, suddenly had to come to terms with the fact that the original game is set like, you know, a few centuries before Frankenstein's monster was made. And suddenly it's like, wait, how do we explain that? I actually don't know if they did explain that or if they just or not, but I think that's amusing. Okay. So the first game they weren't really thinking about the lore and like how like the actual like say because the actual like the actual how the actual Dracula novel and I guess Frankenstein novel and all those would actually relate to it all. Which one are we going for next? B5, C5, D4. D4 next. Okay. Wait, did I? Oh, I saw something. One, two. Nothing behind there. Oh, that's a tree right there. Of course, there's nothing. 3, 4, 6. Wait. Oh, wait, do I? Just realized I was slightly off. I won't. Last thing is the positioning. Castlevania Bloodlines, of course, Sega Genesis, yeah. Online service. Oh, okay, yeah. It's also the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. Okay, that's good to know. For if I eventually get up to that one. Then I have... By Sega Genesis Online service, I assume you mean like on the Switch. Because yeah, then I do have access to that one when I get up to it. And like, I'm pretty sure I have Castlevania 3 on Wii Virtual Console. I know I have 1 and 2 on there since that's how I played them. I think I have 3 on there as well, but I'm just holding off until I play Haunted Castle first. And I have... I think Castlevania The Adventure is the first Game Boy one, and I have that on 3DS Virtual Console. Yeah, Switch Online, okay, yeah. And I think I have... That might be all I have. But... yeah. And hopefully not much longer until I get my 3DS with a capture card. Oh, that's... I'm still so happy about that. Just like the massive expansion to my available streaming games. And then, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we can start looking into eventually getting a Virtual Boy that I can stream. And eventually I want to be able to stream every video game system ever. Although I do realize that there's some, like, say, the Game & Watches, which really the only way to stream that is to literally point a camera at the screen, but, you know. I think they made a WiiWare version of Adventure, and if you remember, people said play that version if you can't set the Game Boy version. I might actually have that as well. I have a rather large WiiWare collection that I need to go and properly catalog. Because back in the day I was buying... There was like... at least a year, possibly longer, where I was buying like... probably longer, where I was buying at least one WiiWare game. I think generally multiple WiiWare games every week. So I have a lot of WiiWare games. And I definitely don't have all of the WiiWare games, unfortunately, but something like, yeah, Castlevania, that being a bigger series, I probably would have prioritized, you know, that over a lot of the stuff on there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fortunately for you, you do not buy Castlevania Anniversary Collection. It's a Game Boy version. Oh, fortunately for me, I do not, but Castlevania Anniversary Collection has the Game Boy version, not the WiiWare version. Oh yeah. I mean, technically speaking, if you have a what am I going to go to Catholic? If you have a modded Wii, it is possible to get any WiiWare game on there. I do believe. I believe all of them, you know, exist somewhere on the internet. I mean, technically, you wouldn't even need a modded Wii. You could also just get a Wii emulator, play them on the computer. Not that I would recommend that, in case... Well, actually, no, Nintendo wouldn't even care if that's not a Nintendo game. But in case, Konami, right? Castlevania is Konami, right? In case they're watching. Castlevania. Yes, Konami. I always have to think, because it's because Konami and Capcom both, I mean, one starts with a K, one starts with a C, but it's the K sound either way, and they're both fairly big Japanese companies that are third-party video game developers. So I often get confused on who developed which series between them. So in case Konami is watching, I do not recommend pirating Castlevania games. I'm just saying it's a thing that is technically possible to do. And if you ever see me playing a WiiWare or Virtual Console game on stream, it can be safely assumed, WiiWare or Wii Virtual Console game, it can be safely assumed that I presumably bought it back before the Wii shop channel shut down. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I mean, I did buy a ridiculous amount back in the day, so it really can be safely assumed. Well, I don't have everything, I definitely have a lot. I like the fact that Rondo Blows Veil and the Wii shop and Nintendo consider an import and charge tomorrow. For anything you're downloading a file. Oh, it's charge more. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I actually have. I think I actually got that one. I think that was the last thing I bought. I bought that one right before the Wii Shop channel shut down, just because of the fact that because that's the one that hadn't otherwise been released in North America, I think. But I think with the import games, the reason they cost extra was because of the fact that they got translated, because the work had to be done to translate them. I thought that was the. I don't know if that's the case for all. Well, I mean, to be fair, Super Mario Brothers 2, the Lost Levels, didn't need any translation work, and that cost extra. I know Sin and Punishment got translated, and I remember that was the reason given was the extra cost was because it had to be translated. But yeah. 6, 7, 8. Bam. You don't have to think of what other, because I know that one. Well, I mean, the ones I just mentioned. So yeah, like the Rondo Blood, Sin Punishment, Super Mario Brothers 2: The Lost Levels. I know those were all ones that got released as import games on Wii Virtual Console. I know there were others as well, but those are the ones that are immediately coming to mind. I know there weren't too many of them. Like Earthbound Beginnings we didn't get until Wii U, for example. At least in the West, with Castlevania Requiem Collection, which includes Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood on PS4. Yeah, but that's what I was saying at the time, because Wii was, you know, Wii was before the PS4. Keep thinking I see where, because we missed a fossil somewhere in town today, so I just keep thinking I see where it might be. Wait. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. For anyone who's come in the last little bit is wondering why I'm only picking up 8 at a time, it's because if I pick up 9, there isn't enough room in my inventory for the money Nook would give me, so he can't buy them. Yeah, at the time Rondo Blood was pretty much only on the Wii, but now it's on PS4, yeah. Yeah. Slowly, a lot of older games that were, at one time, like, Japanese exclusive are occasionally getting released here in one form or another. Stuff like, yeah, like a few, like, you know, on the Virtual Console via either on the Wii or Wii U, maybe on 3DS. I don't actually know if there are any important ones on the 3DS. I'm assuming there were. I just don't know off the top of my head. So some stuff on, like, you know, the Switch Online now, and then some stuff like in compilations, or through via remakes, or various things, which is nice. It's pretty nice for like somebody like me that likes to go through series in order, where it's just like, but I like generally only go through the North American releases, such. So it's just like, okay, like for instance, right now when I go eventually do like the Fire Emblem series, I get to start with the original Fire Emblem because it was had that limited release on Switch, and I got it during that time, so I'm able to play it on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then after that, I jump ahead to like Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance, the one that got released, well, the one that got released here as just Fire Emblem because it was the first one that got released here. But if any of the others, before I get through the original Fire Emblem, because I don't even know when I'll be starting on that one. But if any of the other early ones get released here in the meantime, then hey, that's more stuff I gotta go through in the meantime for the later stuff. Yeah. And of course, we all know, like, you know, the Japanese. Oh, well, okay, actually, I was gonna say, like, there's the one series that was Japan only. Technically, the first game also got released in Europe, but that, of course, we all want to get. And then, release of the games here in North America is, of course, the Tingle games for the DS. There was like Tingle's Rosia Rupee Land, which was the first one, and that one did get released in Europe in addition to Japan. Then the rest were Japanese only. Because they apparently thought North Americans did not care for the character of Tingle and we would not buy the games. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, that makes sense. There's 12 there still, so that makes sense. For most people got close to Rondo Blood was Dracula X on SNES. For Castlevania fans, it's not good. Oh yeah, because those are related game. I don't remember exactly what it is, but there's somewhat similarity or whatever it is between them. Like they're different versions of the same game or something like that. Dracula X. Shared the gameplay and storyline of Castlevania Rondo of Blood. While the plot is similar and it uses many of that game's graphics, it features all new levels and altered gameplay elements rather than being a direct port. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. So it's the same story, but different levels. You see it's a watered-down Rondo of Blood? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that it said it had fewer levels on the Wikipedia page. Which means I'll probably eventually play through both of them separately, because it seems like they're different games, even if they share the same story, so... Oh, don't want me to let her know. Make a deposit. But of course, like I said, next Castlevania game I will play is Haunted Castle. I just need to get a PS4 so I can get Haunted Castle without having to actually... Because the other alternative will be tracking down an actual arcade machine of it, the actual arcade machine, and that seems... I mean, even tracking one down will be difficult. Then, well, let alone being able to afford it. Play both games. Maybe one day you will. Nice. Yeah, Castlevania is definitely a pretty big series. Like, it's no Mario, but like, you know, nothing's Mario. Mario with its like over 100 games, well over 100 games. Kind of all the spin-offs, of course, I mean, Pokemon's pretty up there in number of games as well with all those spin-offs, especially when considering Pokemon has like a lot of those like has like quite a few mobile games and some computer games and such. Thanks to the fact that, you know, they're not entirely Nintendo owned, just partially Nintendo owned. They can do all sorts of other stuff with Pokemon that Nintendo otherwise wouldn't do. I mean, Nintendo does do mobile games, but they don't do computer games. Well, not for a long time. like back in the day or whatever, like, you know, 80s and such. I know there were some. I think there were some of the arcade games that got like computer ports and such. Commander Keen, if you're familiar with Commander Keen, actually started as a PC port of Super Mario Bros. 3. But when they showed it to Nintendo, Nintendo's like, yeah, we don't want a PC port of Super Mario Bros. 3. So that got turned into Commander Keen. Okay, D4 is done. You're familiar, yeah, nice. That's a series I wouldn't mind playing on stream at some point. Okay, C5 next. Where are we at? So we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually only played a very little bit of Commander Keen. Because we had, on my computer when we were growing up, we had, like, a demo of, one of the Commander Keen games. Which only contained, like, a couple, like, 3 levels or whatever. And there were some other Commander Keen games I would occasionally play at, like, friends' houses or whatever. But that was about it. Be interesting to go get a hold of those, and especially because Commander Keen is part of the same universe as the classic Castlevania and Doom games. They were all part of the same shared universe. Because Commander Keen is the grandson of the main character from Wolfenstein, and then Commander Keen is also the father of Doom Guy from Doom. Which is just kind of funny. So it's like these two, like, hyper-violent, you know, first-person shooters, and then right in between them is the, you know, kiddie platformer series. Kid-friendly platformer series. Do know, in fact, it started as a part of Mario 3 to PC, and eventually they went on to make Doom. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I love learning about, like, you know, video game history and such. And just, like, the way different things went. And yeah, and the, you know, stuff like that, because, like, if you didn't know that Commander Keen started out as a Super Mario Bros. 3 port, you wouldn't, like, because, like, well, it's a platformer, it plays very differently, so you wouldn't just assume it that if you didn't already know. Okay. Also, Wolfenstein series did not start out as first-person shooters. So there are actually 2 Wolfenstein games in the 80s that were like 2D, like top-down games that weren't. They were made by other people or whatever, and it was just when. So when the guys from the company that, you know, made Commander Keen and such or whatever, when they decided to start making this, like Doom and such, started making this, they asked, actually went and asked if they could use the Wolfenstein name, and it's just like, yeah, you can. And it was like, okay. So many games I need to play on stream one day. So little time. Speaking of time, it is 6 o'clock. We're making good, decent time. We're on our second last acre of turnips. Because my break ended up being longer than expected, I don't know if we're going to finish by like 6:30 as my earlier prediction was. We're definitely still going to be done selling turnips by 7 for sure. Probably not even much past 6:30. Yeah, maybe even still before. We'll be done by 6:30. Maybe. Maybe. But yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Feel free to browse. I always feel free to browse. Except when I don't. Yeah, and we're not going to be making another town today because of the fact that, yeah, we're taking all this time to sell turnips. So, but I think the rest of the week we'll try to create a town, like, each day. Well, like, yeah. And then Saturday we should have a total of 9 towns. Then next week if we create another 5, putting us at 14. And the week after create final 4 to put us at 18. "18 towns. People thought I was mad. I still think I'm mad. For, you know, going creating all these towns. But I'm doing it. Because I set my goals and I'm going for them. Set my goals, set my rules and restrictions for how I'm doing this, and we are going to get her done. Okay, that was 6. 2 more from the bottom. Going to 100% this game. We're doing it one step at a time. Early on we were doing it multiple steps at a time, but at this point we're mostly doing it one step at a time. By multiple steps at a time, I mean like early on we were frequently getting, you know... I mean at the start you're getting, you know... every piece of furniture, clothing, wallpaper, carpet, item, whatever, like, is new and gets added to your catalog and is progress. Whereas at this point, you know, progress is much slower, more methodical. A little bit here, a little bit there. Until eventually we have it all. Make a deposit, please. Make a deposit for me. Yeah, getting some good money here. Such that. Before too long, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Before long, we'll have. I don't know. I was gonna say our money maxed out, but I shouldn't say before long, because that's still gonna be a little while yet. You finished. I beat Lego City Undercover ages ago. I think you were here time when I was playing on Summer Quest Sunday. Which is, you know, when people subscribe, they get to vote for what I'll play on a Sunday, where I'll go back to a game that I've already beaten to work on 100%ing it, but that's just like, you know, single stream, so it's not like I'm necessarily going to finish 100%ing it in that stream. It's just work on it, and then so still have more to do to 100% that one, but unless either somebody else, you know, a subscriber requests it for a separate quest side stream, or if I do like another Lego marathon. Actually, that might have also been what happened. Might have been doing it as part of a Lego marathon stream. But yeah. Okay. Again, so other than like Animal Crossing here, which I'm working on 100%ing daily, most other stuff that I'm working on 100%ing is just like a little here, a little there, if like it gets requested for a sub request stream, or if I'm doing a marathon stream. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Which is why there's only like 2 games I actually have 100%ed satisfactorily to my. Well, I will 100% 2 games to my satisfaction: Super Mario World and Adventures of Lolo. In the case of Adventures of Lolo, that was really only because of the fact that I beat the game and I'm like, there's not really anything else to do, so I think it is 100%ed just by beating it. Super Mario World, that one took a bit more, but not, you know, that one's not too complicated. Even for me, who adds like all this sorts of extra stuff to what I consider 100% compared to normal people. Also, welcome in. How's it going? How are you doing? How is your Tuesday treating you? Two more trips for that acre, and then we just have the final acre to do. Now I mean to hit that wall with my shovel. Can't exactly. I mean, I guess you could dig through. Can't dig through a wall in the game, but could dig through a wall with a shovel, given depending on what the wall's made of and given enough time. I mean, regardless of what the wall is almost regardless of what the wall is made of. Given enough time and given enough shovels, you could dig through pretty much any wall. Now, say, you know, given enough shovels, because depending on what the wall's made of and what the shovel's made of, you know, the shovel may go before the wall does, but yeah. Okay. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 8 left in the acre, looks like, so that is accurate. So after this, one more trip for C5, and then we just have B5 left. I'd like to sell these turnips, please. So yeah, we might still get done by 6:30. With the turnips selling. Which is awesome. Make a deposit. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna reach 240 million bells, but I think we are gonna get. I mean, we're definitely getting closer. Not sure how close though. Today, I mean, obviously it will eventually surpass that, because eventually we'll get to 999,999,999 bells in our savings account. That should be 8. Excellent. Which is C5 done. Oh, why is my arm sore? Oof. Why is... Ow. Oh. Like, it's fine like this holding my controller. Putting my arm out like there to use my mouse. Ow. What happened? It was fine before. I don't know. Is the way my arm is resting on the armrest. Just kind of readjusting how I'm sitting here to see if that'll help. Maybe if I just don't have my arm there when I don't need it. I don't know. Okay. Anyone else randomly have a sore anything? I think that's just a sign that I'm getting old. I'm not old, like I'm only 35, but getting older, I should say. As you get older, your body starts taking more and more issue with more and more things. 3, 4, 6, 7. Sorry, just had to sneeze there. 8. Okay. To sell all this stuff. I'd like to sell all of this rough. Make a deposit. I had a brain fart there. I was like, what are we doing here? We actually do get to 240 million today. That would be neat. I don't think we are, but... Well, no, I don't think we are. Well, maybe. This is what happens when I don't do like all the math ahead of time. 1, 2. I'm not ready to pick that one up yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know it doesn't really matter, but I like to go at it in order, especially like around the tree. Like that one didn't really matter because that one wasn't around a tree. Because that's the main reason I do like to go in order, so that I don't miss any behind trees or whatever. But yeah. So I think game audio is starting to get a bit out of sync again. Okay, that was just... Arm wasn't as sore reaching for the most that time, so yeah, I think it was just the way I had my arm resting on the armrest was causing it to, you know, I don't know, do something so that when I moved it into a certain different position, it was like, nope. Make a deposit, please. Make a deposit for me. Yeah, it's really nice that we are getting this done, though, relatively early in the week, so then the rest of the week we don't have to worry about it. Just can concentrate on other stuff. Specifically on the day that I only stream Animal Crossing anyway. Because obviously if we were selling turnips on like a different day of the week where I would normally be streaming something else after Animal Crossing, that stream would end up being just Animal Crossing, so this way we don't have to cancel like the Star Wars Knights of the Republic stream tomorrow after Animal Crossing, or like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on Thursday after Animal Crossing, or Earthbound Beginnings on Friday after Animal Crossing. Unless we, like, take one of those as my day off from streaming this week, which I honestly might take tomorrow off from streaming just because of the fact that we did sell my turnips today, and it's just like, okay. It's always nice, like, once that's out of the way, it's just like, take the next day to just relax. We'll see what happens. See how I'm feeling tomorrow after work. At the same time, I do want to still be, you know, going and progressing with stuff. to do one of like Star Wars: Knights of the Republic, which we're playing on Wednesdays after Animal Crossing. Like, we're currently exploring Tatooine and trying to figure out how to make peace with the Tusken Raiders and such. And a bunch of other stuff as well, but some of the key things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down to the bottom for 9. For 8, I mean. We won't skip 8, Eric. 8 is an important number. And of course, with Animal Crossing, we're trying to make, don't want to count the more, or trying to make all my towns so that I'm ready for getting all the train station models in July. Which, granted, we still have plenty of time for that. Like, we're only in March, so I have March, April, May, and June. So I have like 4 months to create another 10 towns. 11 towns. Yeah, because we have 5 towns at the moment, but one of them is... But 2 of them have the same train station, so... Yeah, like Trantor and I think it was Meltork 4, yeah, share a train station, so... Meltork 4, it doesn't help us as a result of and such, so we need 11 more for that. We're going to eventually have 18 towns total, but it's just 15 that we need by July. 15 ones with unique trains for each of the different train stations. So I guess that'll put us at 16 total, since Meltork 4, like I said, doesn't count, but then we still have the other 2, because we still want to also get all of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. We want to get all the islanders as well. Which is why we need 18 towns, because there's 18 islanders. I'd like to sell all of this junk. All this junk inside my trunk. Okay. Ooh, we've been streaming for almost 3 hours. We're like half a minute away from the 3-hour mark for stream. Half a minute. It's not very often we get to the 3-hour mark in an Animal Crossing, in a just pure Animal Crossing stream. Like, I mean, we did on Sunday, I guess, also when we were buying the turnips. But, like, usually it's like, lately, like, for the split stream, like the 2-game streams or whatever, it'll be like Animal Crossing for like maybe an hour, and then an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I should say, and then switch to the other game. If it's just doing Animal Crossing, we maybe go for 2 hours. Wait, where? Oh, I'm not far enough over. I was very confused. Here we go, this is where we wanted to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go. We're actually getting pretty close to 240 million. We might reach it. Really close, but we might reach it. How much do we have left? Currently, we might just be just short. Let's see here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I think actually we are going to reach 240 million bells today. That's awesome. That is very awesome. Yeah, I should look back at the model we were at when we started doing this today, so I can figure out just how much money we made. But I'll try will. I feel like I need to know the exact numbers. Yeah, we're definitely going to be reaching 240 million. Sweet. We are moving and grooving on the money. Assuming things go well, we could be at 300 million by the end of this month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then honestly, logically speaking, we could be going up by approximately 100 million bells a week. A month, I mean, not a week. Not a week, a month. 100 million bells a month. I knew what I meant, and I just misspoke. In which case, yeah, we could have our savings account maxed out prior to the end of the year. So if we go for like 300 million end of this month, then like, which is the third month or whatever, I guess. So then, yeah, max it out by the end of October. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, like, we were already over 200 million, like, at the start of this month, so, like, I have a bit of leeway, like, baked into those estimates that right there. Yeah. That'd be awesome, because then we could, if we could do that at our rate, which, let's be honest, probably can't because of just life and the universe and everything, but if we can even get close to that, because like right now it's going to take us till like December 24th to get everything else we need for catalog purposes. But if we can get the post office model before December 24th, then 120, and as well as the hey, 240 million, as well as like those last two Gracie outfits, and also all the music I still need. But if I can get all that stuff sooner, then as long as we don't miss any events this year, then yeah, by December 24th, we could potentially have our catalog complete. Obviously, there's a few other things I want to be doing for 100%ing, but the NES games, of course, being one of the big question marks of how long that'll take. But yeah. Final turnips. So let's see, let me actually go and there we go. So we've sold all our turnips. Let's just confirm my catalog numbers are accurate, even though we know they are. Furniture is 581. Wallpaper is 66, as is carpets. Clothing should be 244. Yep. Item 63. All 64 stationery. All 127 gyroids. All 25 fossils. And what do we have for music? 37? Yes. All those numbers are indeed accurate. Yeah, music is the one that's still the furthest. The lowest percent as far as the catalog stuff. The lowest actual percentage is the NES games 100%ed, but yeah, but for the catalog stuff, it's the music. Well, so the music is a lot easier to get. Music is, though, fairly easy to get up, though. That goes here. Skyline, woodcut, parchment. There we go. Now let's go deposit most of this money at 2. Because don't need that much cash on me. It's not safe to be walking around with that much bells on you. It's fine at Trantor, but like if I go to Maltork 4, for instance, make a deposit. So we have in our savings account is 240,587,216. Nice. Nice. Very nice. It's a lot of bells. Oh, which I was just realizing, like 250 million, so we're about 10 million away from being a quarter of the way there. Oh, right. I think we're gonna end here. I know normally I like to play a bit of Balloon Fight before we finish, but I think this is a good point to call it. So we're gonna go raid somebody though. So if y'all want to stick around for that, that'd be awesome. As I'm gonna go and check who is live and what people are playing and who we want to raid. Let's just finish. Let's see here. Where's my mouse? Nintendo. Okay. So we could rate somebody playing the Blind Forest. Could raid somebody playing Lost Ark. Could raid somebody playing Horizon Forbidden West. Could raid somebody playing Stardew Valley. Could raid somebody playing Super Mario World ROM Hack. Could raid somebody playing Elden Ring. Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those people, so let me know in chat if you have a preference between any of those games I just mentioned. Otherwise, I'll decide myself who are gonna go and raid, and yeah. I'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time with more Animal Crossing, followed by Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Then Thursday, again 3 p.m. Animal Crossing, followed by Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Friday, Animal Crossing 3 p.m. followed by Earthbound Beginnings. Saturday we'll be doing Animal Crossing at 6 p.m. Sunday, Animal Crossing at hoping for 8 a.m. We'll see how it goes. Currently no Separate Quest Sunday stream scheduled for Sunday, as we are caught up on those. Then Monday, back to 3 p.m. with Animal Crossing, followed by Blaster Master. Yet another attempt at it. And then Tuesday, just Animal Crossing at 3 p.m. And that's the schedule for the next week. And since nobody seems to have a preference as to who we go and raid, I think we are going to go and raid Katie playing Ori and the Blind Forest. I think we've raided her before. Yeah, that's definitely where we're going to head over. Awesome streamer. And yeah. So if you all want to join me on the raid, you can copy and paste the raid message and join in on the raid. And yeah, thanks everyone for coming out today. Those who chatted, those who just lurked, those who hosted, those who raided, you're all wonderful people. Thank you for hanging out. It's been a blast, and I will see you all later. Let me just make sure I've copied the raid message. And bye.